We are back, people. Had a little tech issue, so improvise and move forward. I'm gonna go on and do this webinar without the screen share, and hope you don't mind. So today's topic is the secret to manifesting anything you want, anything your heart truly, truly desires. Let me give you an outline of what I'm going to talk about. I am going to tell you my story of how I went from struggling employee to living the dream of my life in a career that I truly love, in an environment filled with people that truly care for me, and the environment I can truly thrive in. I did this by using 7 steps. The 7 steps using my imagination to manifest anything I wanted. You can use this to manifest anything your heart truly desires, be it money, love, health, etc., whatever you truly, truly want. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, imagination, a little out there, law of attraction, daily affirmations, is that it? I mean, imagination, it's like wishing, hoping. It's not realistic. Well, let me ask you this question. If it weren't for imagination, how would humans be able to land on the moon? How would the Wright brothers be able to invent the airplane? Something that can fly up in the air. Now, you're probably going to react with, well, those are scientists. Those are smart people, not me. What's that got to do with me? Well, let me tell you my story. I was the invisible girl. I lacked self-confidence. My self-image was super, super poor. I let everyone else around me have a say in my life because I was like, okay, they seem smarter, brighter, more intelligent. They have more experience than me, so I'm just gonna go with the flow, stick to the status quo. And that's why I struggle through life. I was always overworked, underpaid, taken for granted, and I struggled just to fit to that tiny little cubicle, that tiny little comfort zone, that status quo of life. And in my most recent job, my job, I was working at an e-commerce company. I did social media content. I, again, was in that cycle of overworked, underpaid, and I just couldn't figure out what was wrong. And I just became a people pleaser, everybody's little assistant, and I hated the office politics. I'm sure most of you can relate, right? Like working in the office is a stress in and of itself, and then added on to that the politics. No one wants to deal with that. No one deserves that. But what led me to say enough is enough? Okay, what happened was one day when I got off work, I was on the bus home, but when all of a sudden I lost half of my eyesight. It was only 30 seconds, but those 30 seconds felt like forever. And when I went to see the doctor, my doctor told me, hey, if you keep on working like this, you're going to have a stroke very, very soon. And so I was kind of forced to take a step back and look at my life, like ask myself, is this it? Like, is this how my life is going to be? Am I going to die of a stroke or something? So I had to quit my job for my health because I wanted to live like every human being on the world, on this earth, in this world. And so I tried to apply for other jobs, and yes, I was able to land better jobs with better titles, higher salaries, but still, it was still overworked, underpaid. And I was like, what is wrong with me? What is wrong with the world? Why is the world working against me? Is this some kind of curse? So I thought, hey, maybe the job isn't my thing. Maybe I was born to be an entrepreneur. So I ventured into the world of entrepreneurship. I joined a program that taught people how to do Amazon FBA. I was like, okay, I'm gonna have my own private label product, and things are gonna be fine, and I'm gonna earn 6 figures. Like, dream big. But every step of the way was a challenge. Like, the supplier was kind of a scam. The products were defects. Like, nothing went right, and I just crashed hard and fast. And I was like, okay, maybe this isn't my thing. So what do? Do I look for a job again, or do I try something else? And because I started venturing into self-discovery, personal development, just to, hold on to life because of my health issues. I subscribed to a YouTuber called Stephen James, and he did an interview with a person named Dan Locke. And Dan Locke introduced the skill of high-ticket closing. And I was like, okay, what he said makes sense. So I signed up for the HTC program. I learned the art of high-ticket closing. I did well in the program. I was very active in the community. But when it came to actually landing an influencer after graduation, I still struggled. It was the same thing over and over again. Acquiring a lot of knowledge, doing well during the program, during school, but when it came to application, something went wrong. There was this huge gap between knowing and doing and getting the results I wanted. It was a curse. I thought to myself, I was like, what is wrong? What is wrong? And I was so embarrassed to ask people around me what I should do. But after months of struggling, I was like, okay, I gotta find a solution. So I reached out to a friend of mine, and he introduced me to his mentor, Mark Juswitcher, and Bob Proctor's program, Thinking into Results. And I started really diving into, okay, so everything on the outside stayed pretty much the same. It was always the same teacher, same mentor, same program, same process. What's the only difference? Me. I have to be the one that has to change. There is something inside that's going on. I need to fix that. So I started looking into the human mind, how it works, and mind power. And that's when I had this aha moment. Like, aha! I am living in this matrix. As humans, we are trapped in a cage. We don't even know there's a cage. We are all conditioned by the environment around us, the people we interact with, everything around us. We let outside circumstances dictate how we think, how we behave. We're living from the outside in, which is sick, because we should live from the inside out. We should be inspired by our dreams, what we truly want, and act upon our dreams. Because the way you think, the way you dream, the way you imagine things, it translates into your behavior, and your behavior produces your results. I mean, duh, it's not rocket science. But I was like, why did I not know this? So I started really focusing on shifting my mindset, my paradigm. If you're not aware of what paradigms are a multitude of habits that they dictate your behavior, the way you think. It's kind of like your default autopilot mode. And if you're wondering whether you have the right paradigm, whether it's working in your favor, all you have to do is look at the results. If you're not getting the results you want, there's something wrong with your paradigm. So I was like, okay, now I know I need a different way of thinking, different way of behaving, different way of getting the results I wanted. And I focused on imagination every step of the way because I knew that I had to think differently. If I want to have success, I need to think like the successful people do. I need to act like they do. I need to be different. And the only way I could do that was imagine. Imagine if I were in that position, what would I do? If I were a person at that high performance level, what would I do? What would life be like? How would I think? How would I act? And that focused imagination helped me start to manifest and attract the things I truly wanted. I attracted a famous influencer. I attracted them to offer me a position as a community leader. And they gave me that, not because I asked, not because I was needy. They gave me this position just because of who I am, because I was able to become that high performance individual. I was able to use my imagination to really transform myself. That's why. That's why it's so important to focus on really building that mental muscle and breaking free from your mental cage. And today I am going to show you how. 7 steps to success, 7 secret steps that no one really talks about. You might find some things here and there online, but not these step by step. Step number 1, acknowledge your current status. Like I said earlier, if you're getting the results you want, then there's not much of a trouble with their paradigm. But obviously, you're obviously here because you want more. You're not living that perfect dream life you've always wanted, right? So let's acknowledge the current status. Now, it's not like, oh, what do I do? I'm stuck in the middle of nowhere. Let's take a closer look and notice that nowhere is also now here. You're now here. You have a starting point and you know where you want to go, so you have a sense of direction. You're now here. And acknowledge that your current strategy isn't working. You have got to change, or else same cycle, same habitual pattern over and over again, that curse, that cage, that rat race, 9 to 5, again and again. Step number 2, raise your vibration. In order for you to start imagining, start thinking a different way, you need to, let's just say, if you're focused on what you want to run away from, you're going to attract more of it. If you're focused on breaking up with those bad boys, you know, sometimes some girls always fall for the bad boys, those toxic relationships. The more you try to run away from something, the more you think, the more it becomes sort of your autopilot. And the more, for example, if you want to get out of debt, if you put get out of debt on your vision board, then you're going to focus on the word debt. And it's going to become your target visualization. And you're going to subconsciously attract more and more debt. So number 2 is raise your vibration. How do you do that? How do you shift your focus from the negative to the positive? The law of polarity. Think the opposite. For example, instead of, okay, this person is so toxic, I want to get away from this person, this environment, think of the ideal person that you want to attract, or the ideal you want to become. And practice the attitude of gratitude every single morning. It will shift your vibration, your emotion, and you will live a happier day that way. think of 10 people, 10 things you're grateful for every single morning, and ask for guidance. If you have a religion, ask your God for guidance, ask spirit for guidance, and then send love to the people that bother you. And you're not doing this for them, you're doing this for you. It's because you're sending positive vibrations, positive intentions. Because the thing is, if you wish bad things happen upon others, it's like you're drinking toxic poison and wishing that person dies. It won't work. You're just drinking poison and poisoning yourself. Step number 3. Step number 3, decide what you want. What you really, really want. Hashtag, what do you want? And comment down below, what do you really want? What do you really, really want? And what I mean by that is your C-type goals. And if you're not aware, here's a brief outline. There are A-type, B-type, C-type goals. A-types are the things you already have, and there's no point setting those kind of goals because those are to-do lists, not goals. And in life, if you're not growing, you're dying. And B-type goals, they're a bit of a stretch, but not that much of a growth for you, so it won't excite you every single morning. You won't feel that motivated to move towards that because you know the step-by-step. You follow the recipe, you'll get a cake, right? C-type goals are the goals that make you really stretch. They're really out there, but when you think of it, you're like, oh my gosh, what do I do? You feel intimidated, but at the same time, you're like, oh, if I could achieve that, if I could get there, it would be so awesome. You feel so excited just at the thought. You can't help but think of that goal. It's like falling in love. You can't help but think of that person. It's like that Michelle Branch song, Everywhere. 'Cause you're everywhere to me. When I close my eyes, it's you I see. It's like that. Those are what you really, really want. If that goal makes you feel like, oh my God, what did I do? And oh my gosh, I really, really want to get there. That's your C-type goal. Step number 4, shift your perspective. Look at things from another direction. Instead of thinking to yourself, oh, this is the reason why I can't do that. That is the reason that this won't work. Instead of thinking why I can't, start finding excuses for yourself because there will always be excuses if you look for them. Instead of thinking that way, think to yourself, how can I achieve that? How can I get there? And when you think that way, you'll start to trigger your imagination. You're going to be like, okay, let's form a game plan. What do I do? Will this work? If it's like, okay, this is more of an excuse, then cross it. Like Ariana Grande said, thank you. Next. Go off to the next idea. Tip number 5, use your imagination. Use your creativity. Like I mentioned earlier, you need to operate and think like the person you want to become. Act as if all your dreams have come true and challenge your reality to catch up. Close your eyes and imagine the person you want to be. Imagine that you've already arrived there. Where would you live? How would you feel? And how would you act differently? If that's too vague, think of your role models. How would they react to a certain situation? Like, I loved Khaleesi in the Game of Thrones. When I want to be a girl boss, I close my eyes and think to myself, okay, what would Khaleesi do? I'm like, okay, I will do what queens do. I will rule. Think of your role models. Who are your role models? If you're your guy, you like martial arts, think of Bruce Lee, what would Bruce Lee do? Like, be water, my friend. Flow, like, water! Okay, enough fooling around. Step number 6, act now, because knowledge is only potential power. And to be honest, how much time do you have left? I just did a video yesterday or the day before. It's called How Much Time Do You Have Left? And let me give you a visualization to help you understand the urgency. Okay, let's pretend you can live to the age of 80. These are the check boxes of your life. Like each box represents 1 year. Like, let's check some boxes. Which box are you on right now? Let's say 36, then you're almost halfway through. It might seem like you have a lot of boxes left, but let me remind you, 1 box is only 1 year, 365 days, 366 if it's leap year. But you get the idea, there's not that many days left. How many boxes do you have left? And let's trace back to what's happened in the past. Have you ever feel like you've been living the same year over and over again, going in that habitual pattern, that cycle, that curse you can't seem to break, can't seem to lift? How many boxes do you have left? Think to yourself. And if you often procrastinate, you want the step-by-step before you take action, my advice is action drives out thoughts. Take the action and analyze later. Don't wait till you're 100% certain that it will work, because that will turn into a B-type goal. Or if you procrastinate for too long, the step-by-step, the steps might be outdated, then it might not even get you to those results at all. Last step, seek guidance and make the shift. Because would you agree with me that if you were to do this on your own, you'd kind of lose momentum and no one would be there to hold you accountable, right? What if you had a mentor that gave you a blueprint that helped you along the way, gave you guidance? Wouldn't that accelerate your process? Condense years into months, months into weeks, weeks into days. How much faster would you move towards your goals that way? You need mentors. And mentors and masterminds and people that can hold you accountable. There is a way to help you have laser beam focus, build that strong mind power, and never lose that momentum. Never be derailed by circumstances, by what people say, how the environment changes. There is so much more to success than these 7 steps. This is just the beginning. Because I'm not here to offer you a quick fix, a magic pill, because those don't exist. And if people tell you that they have that solution, chances are they're scams. That's just how it is. But if you truly want to make that change, maybe I can help. But on one condition, you have to really want it. You have to really want to unstuck yourself. You have to want to break out of that mental jail. And it takes more than just one webinar, a few classes for you to break out of jail. Wouldn't you agree? It takes effort to reprogram your subconscious. What's deeply rooted, that program that's deeply rooted, it's a result of years and years of conditioning. It's not that easy to shift. And chances are if you're trying to shift this alone, your paradigm is gonna bring up a royal fight, and you're gonna be like one soldier against a million guy army, you know. Like the hopes are, you get the idea, pretty bleak. So if you are committed to the change, if you want to say, okay, enough is enough, I want to change, then I'd be glad to jump on a call. Send me a private message. Let's help unstuck you, get you out of that mental cage that you're stuck in. If you're committed, only if you're committed. Now, here's two options for you. The blue pill, red pill. If you take the blue pill, then this will just be another webinar, another video you watched online, and you can wake up tomorrow morning believing whatever you want to believe. But if you choose to take the red pill, I will show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. And you might be thinking, okay, you are crazy. Yes, I am. I am completely bonkers. But I'll let you in on a little secret. All the greatest people are. Do you want to be the 97% that might be broke in a couple of years? Live life on default, autopilot? Or do you want to be the 3% that really succeed and live the life they truly want to live? Are you willing to take a leap of faith and let me help you move towards your dreams, finally, for once in your life? Maybe for the first time in forever, you're actually taking action to be you and to be appreciated for who you are. So that's about it. That's a wrap. If you have any further questions, feel free to comment down below, send me a private message, and I'll talk to you soon.